talk, we gon' have fun. We be on fire, we be lit. It's a unique hustle, big shit. Big shit, big shit, big shit. It's a unique hustle, nigga, big shit. Big shit, big shit, big shit. Name another podcast like this.
Check it. It's a unique hustle. It's your boy ECO, and I'm here with the lovely, amazing, official Miss Jamaica. What's going on?
Nothing, madam. Walk on.
Man, I'm feeling good about it. Hey, man, another day. This is a day that the Lord has made. I will be glad and rejoice in it. Check it, man. Hey, man, check it, man. We got a special guest in here today, y'all. This guy right here, man, if you understand what going through something is today, you're going to be very, very blessed, man. This guy he's triumphant over so many different things. He's been so triumphant. He's been going through these things, and God been lifting him up from strength to strength, as I say it, man. My guy, Mr. Daryl Davis, is in the building. What's going on, my brother?
Hey, what's going on, ECO?
Man, Boss Talk 101, what a boss is talk.
How you doing, Mr. Jamaica?
Hey,
blessed,
man.
blessed.
Hey.
It's just a good thing, to get you on Boss Talk 101. When I seen your story, when I heard about your story, when I started to look at the man, you know what I mean, that the guy that really is what I've been through so much, but still yet he stand.
Still he stands. I only stand by God's amazing grace.
Hey, man. So Daryl, man, Mr. Daryl Davis in the building. What you got for him? I know already where you going with it.
I know, because you have such an awesome testimony. So it's like, I want to know about you as a child before you got into all that trouble, before everything. I want to know how you were raised, who you were raised with. I want to know everything.
I come from a two-parent household. I had a mother and a father, a brother and a sister. My father was the second black engineer for the Cotton Belt Railroad. Out of Tyler, Texas.
Okay.
My mother worked in the school district and the medical field.
So, so-called an awesome household, but were they active in your life?
Very much so. I lived with them. They was together.
Because,
and they
you
raised us.
have some kids, some parents who great jobs, have kids, and are not active, and you're in the same household. So that's the reason why I asked that.
We was very much in Little League sports.
Okay.
Very much in church.
Were you the middle child or youngest, oldest? Where did you fall? The middle.
I'm the middle.
Okay.
I have an older sister.
Okay.
And my brother is younger.
Okay.
Wow. And so growing up, I mean, you was the troublemaker, or was you the good kid? Let's be honest about it.
I'm always be 100, right? I was always the shy fat kid that they would make fun of. Wibble wobble, but they don't wall down and all that kind of stuff, right? And I went into a shell, but I was always different.
At how old?
I guess around 7, 8, 9.
Okay.
My dad had us a house bill when I was 10. We moved in it.
How much
I
older
guess we were
is your
spoiled
sister?
kids.
How much older is your sister than you?
Maybe about 12 years.
Oh, way older.
Way older.
Because when you were talking about, how you were being teased and trouble at school and stuff like that, I think about, if you had an older sister who was like a year or two, then she'd be trying to defend you and stuff like that because she'd be in the same school.
It wasn't that I was fighting in school or nothing like that. They were just
teasing.
Yeah, bullying, so to speak, The biggest lie I ever heard in my life was sticks and stones may break my bones, but names would never hurt me.
Yeah.
Right? You might break an arm or get a black eye, and you might not even remember that, right? But someone done said something to us once upon a time in our life that it might still bother us up in our adulthood, right? Because names do hurt. And with that, we don't like to retaliate. And at that time, we didn't know anything about retaliation, right? So we just went into a shell and withdrawal and stayed to ourselves.
Let me say this real quick because this is on my heart. I know that sticks and stones may break my bones, but words may not never hurt me. It depends on where you are spiritually, where you are, because to me, yes, it's just words. If you know who you are and who you are in Christ, it can't. You know what I mean? Because at the same time, like what I've been practicing on myself personally, I can't speak for anybody else, is because I can't control you. I can't control what you say. I can't control what you think. I can only control me, as in how I perceive what you say to me. You know what I mean? So whatever you say about me or to me, if I know who I am and that I'm loved by God himself, nothing you can say can hurt me.
Well, and that's true in adults, right?
That's
but
right.
when
You
you
talking
a
about a
child,
kid, then you don't know how to
you-
combat
you
that.
don't have that foundation
Right.
then, right? So you just growing up with that.
I agree.
And even though that and I was a baby in church all the way up to high school, and I started to despise church. And the reason I started to despise church, the seeds was being planted, right? But I was like, we had 8 grandkids, right? And I was the only one that they would make say Easter speeches up until the time they graduated. They saw something in me that I didn't see in myself, right?
Right.
And I thought that they another form of bullying. You're picking on me.
Yeah.
Because my cousins, they get up there, they cry, and they don't have to go back no more.
You
I
tried
get up there
crying?
and cry, and you gonna make me go back anyway, right?
Yeah.
So it caused a lot of a rejection.
And
to
they
a
didn't
lot of
explain
stuff.
it to you that you're special. They didn't explain anything to you, or you
Well,
just didn't listen.
I probably didn't listen.
Okay.
Because I had tuned out at that time.
Okay.
Right? But everywhere I would go, people always saw something in me. Right. I go somewhere now. They said, "I've seen you somewhere before. Do I know you?" And they come to find out that that's the uniqueness of being chosen by God. It's a light, right? That when you go into the presence of a room, you lights it up, and the people ain't doing right, they get to shaking, right, and they want to move around because they don't know who you are, what you are. They just know it's something about you that they can't figure out at that moment.
Yeah, I yeah. The thing about despising the church, I always look at. I always make it a note to say that the church building is not where it's at. The church, the
church
person,
is in the heart.
Correct. So at the end of the day, when you understand that you are a walking assessment of God, you are chosen of God, then at the end of the day, there's something that becomes you as you grow up. But like you said, when you're younger, you don't know what this is. I remember as a kid, I'd ask myself, why am I here? What is it? What am I here for? I would be walking as a 4 or 5 year old, asking myself, looking up, looking around, because I was just inquisitive when it comes down to trying to understand life. So when you look at it from that perspective, trying to figure everything out, and then this big bad thing called life start to hit at you at different ages, and it start to poke at you, it pretty much teaches you. Life is your best teacher that you'll ever be able to have. And so with that being said, I understand how you could have these issues. I had mine. You had yours. Growing up, trying to figure it all out. That's what it's all about. Yeah. But then as you get older, you know, like I said, you still gonna hit, every time you hit one level, you hit a devil. Next level, another devil. Every level brings a different devil. You see what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, I'm good with it. I understand that life will hit you like that. But your story is phenomenal in the fact that when I looked at you, you ended up in going into getting into trouble. Could we get into that a little bit? Just like how did you end up
And
getting
how old
into
were
trouble,
you
and
when
how
you
old were you
started?
when it happened?
When I first started getting into trouble, I guess I might have been a senior in high school.
Okay.
I didn't smoke my first joint until after I had finished high school, right? And I started stealing right after high school.
Okay.
Right, and I was a kleptomaniac.
Okay.
Right? And I would just steal hubcaps, T-tops, going clothing stores, Kmart, Gibson's, TG&Y.
Were you working at that time? Because out of high school,
I wouldn't work.
you wouldn't work.
I had a job at Taco Bell, but I hate punching the clock. Still to this day, right?
So as you done that, where did you hit your roadblock?
I would go to jail, and by my parents being who they were, I would always get out.
And you lived with them at this time?
Yes, I couldn't do no wrong in my mama's eyes.
That's
but
what I
she
was
wouldn't go
about
to the
to
store
ask.
with me. She said, "Boy, I'm not going to no store with you, right?"
Probably
And,
would have kept you out of trouble.
Uh,
Because would you have stolen with her
probably
being
so.
there?
I could
Okay.
have $6,000 in my pocket and walk in the store and steal a candy bar. You know, I feel that you owed me, right? I don't know where that mentality came from, but I feel that things was owed to me, right? And I didn't want to work for them. And I had good jobs. I was a Southwestern Bell telephone carpenter operator. I worked at Tyler Pipe. I worked at UPS, but I wouldn't work long, right? I would always want to take. But God would give me. He gave me enough rope to what I say to hang myself. But it wasn't to hang myself. It was to find myself.
Yeah.
And it was for Him to let me run into a spot where He could capture me. And once He captured me, He began to minister to me, and He changed my heart, right? Because when I went to prison for a crime that never even happened, right? And I had two police officers to tell the jury that.
Was that the first time you went to prison?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's what I was.
Because the other time, stealing, I only went to jail. And stuff
Exactly.
like that.
That's just the county or just going in and out, coming back out. What? Okay, break that down to me, because you say that the officers said that you didn't even do
I had
it.
two HPD officers, Houston police officers, testified that the crime never happened.
What was the crime?
Aggravated assault with a deadly weapon.
And it was in Houston.
It was in Houston. I was accused of brutally beating someone 32 to 38 times with a full 40-ounce bottle of beer and my fist. And at not one time did they have any cuts, marks, scratches on them. That was the person's testimony. That was the detective's testimony and the police officer testimony. And for the first time in my life, I witnessed white people that didn't believe what the police said, right?
Wow.
So I was mad and angry and bitter. And every time somebody would say something to me about God, I would spit fire. Ain't no such thing as no God. Why do all these little babies die? All this, because I wasn't trying to hear it.
Yeah.
You know, I wasn't thinking about all this karma that was coming back on me, right? From stealing these folks' stuff, hubcap, T-tops in the rain, the whole car getting ruined, and all this kind of stuff, right? This never crossed my mind, and I'm just looking at me in this moment. A spoiled kid that mother always got him out of everything, but now mama can't help you.
Can't help
It's
you.
just you
But
and God.
I want to dig deeper into that.
I know. That's what I was doing. So who was the person that you were allegedly beating?
A girl.
He black or white?
Black girl.
A black girl.
And she testified that
Testified
you didn't.
that I did.
That you did it.
That I brutally beat her 32 to 38. When she first told the police, she told the police that I struck her 2 times. I didn't never hit her a nail time.
Did you know this female?
I did.
You did.
I did.
And you were in Houston at that time.
I was in Houston. I was living in Houston at
You were
that
living
time.
in Houston.
Did you and her have any type of relationship?
Yes.
So this was a girl that you had been with
For about 30 days.
Okay, you had been with her for about 30 days.
And y'all probably
she stole my car, so I was putting her out.
Okay.
And when I put her out, this was her form of retaliation.
Wow. So when she told the officers, I mean, nobody
They never took me to jail.
So and when they came out during this incident where it allegedly happened, did they see any cuts or any bruises?
No, and they testified to that.
And they told them that it didn't have no cut.
If I should have brought my transcripts with me, because I packed them around too. I've been
Really?
packing them around for almost 25 years.
25 years.
And everybody in the jury, what color were they?
All white except for a light-skinned black dude. Now, they wanted to give me a life sentence, an aggravated life sentence. If they had her, I'd still been in there because I had to do 30 years to come up for parole, right? But the light-skinned black dude told my mother that he wasn't going to let them throw me away. So they came up with a number 37 and give me 37 years in prison. So on that 37 years in prison, I had to do 18 years, 6 months, 3 weeks, and 5 days to come out of there.
Wow. And what year did you go in?
1996.
You went in 96 and you came out in?
2015.
2015. And
You know, they accumulate that to a boy meets girl.
yeah.
They get married, have a baby.
Yeah.
The baby go through preschool, elementary, junior high,
Yeah.
and graduate by the time I come up out of there.
Wow.
Right?
And that's crazy for them to give you that amount of time. Is that the first aggravated assault or assault of
Yes.
any type that you had dealt with?
Yes.
But you've been in jail
For
Numerous
for
times.
theft.
For theft.
But okay, correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't really know. But when you're a black man and you have anything on your record, it could be theft, it could be anything, even if it does not, is not even similar to what they're sending you. They look at that, right?
Mm-hmm.
They look at you as a troubled child for that.
Well, I think the system is set up to destroy all black males. And now they done put the females in it as well, right? If you're a black male out here and you succeeding, you're doing very well. In this white man's world, I call it the United States of white America, right? I'm big in politics now. I lobby bills for myself. I lobby for different senators and different representatives around the state, right? And so I am very active in school boards, meetings, commissioners court, city council, and it blows me away how Black Americans don't participate in these things. I was at an event the other night, and it was like a town hall meeting for candidates forum, right? And they want to build a $300 million jail. And you got black pastors that's supposed to be Democrats that's running for these positions, that's standing with the white people on building these jails. You want to spend $300 million to build a jail. Why not put that in a human being and make him a better being, right? Instead of locking them up. But see, they always need people to bear their burdens, right? And when I was coming up, I didn't want to learn nothing. I was the dumbest kid in school, probably. I made F minuses before, right? Because I was so far withdrawn in my shell that I wouldn't come out. When I go to dances and stuff, I used to stand on the wall. They used to call me a wallflower, right? I didn't want to interact with anyone.
Wow. I want to ask you, I want to go back, and I definitely understand where you're coming from. But I want to go back into the fact of when you went into the system. Mentally, how did it do you to be going into a system and getting the amount of time you got, and then knowing that you didn't really do what was being, your character being assassinated like that? When you went into incarceration, what unit did you hit first?
My first unit I hit was a unit in Beeville called Gaza East.
Gaza. That's Hispanics, right?
Nothing but Hispanics.
Correct. So when you hit Gaza unit and you went in there, where was your mind state?
Man, I used to cry every day.
How old were you at this time when this happened?
I was 33.
33. And you cried every day.
Every day I was mad.
Because you knew that you was innocent. And you would tell people, man, I'm down here for nothing. That, right? I know, because they say everybody say that.
They say everybody say that. So and then I was, my mom was in Tyler. I was living in Houston. But being down there in Gaza was, that was super
way
far away from everybody, right? So,
so she never came and visited, or did she?
Not down there, because I wasn't down there long.
Okay.
Right? I refused to stay down there around those people. I couldn't speak no Spanish. I didn't have no business down there.
Yeah.
And by me crying every day, they used to send me to see the site.
Yeah.
Right? And my thing was, I always wanted, if I'm going to be in prison, I want to go to Chocolate City. That was Darrington. Everything was jumping off in Darrington.
Yeah.
So this is where I want to go. So when they sent me to see this little white lady, she said, well, you got to stay here. I said, I don't want to stay here. She said, you got to stay here for 2 years. I said, I'm not staying here for 2 years. And every time I would look at her, she would look down. And I would catch up. When I looked down, she would be looking at me. So I hit that desk. Bam! She said, you're right, you can't stay here. So she put me a transfer, and I was gone with that point. So I was on the next thing smoking out of there, man.
You use your mind, because when I think about men in prison, and you say you were crying every day, I always thought that you can't. You have to put on this tough shell when you're in prison. You can't act like you crying or nothing like that, because
I'm gonna share something with you about that, and I understand where you're coming from, but I never was tried in my early stage of prison. I can honestly say that I hold the big three, right? When I went in prison, I had never participated in homosexuality. When I came out of prison, I hadn't participated in homosexuality. When I went into prison, I didn't have no tattoos. When I came out of prison, I didn't have no tattoos. And when I went into prison, I wasn't a gang member. And when I came out of prison, I wasn't a gang member. And when you think of prisons, that's what you think of those three things. That's how they portray it. But I didn't do that by myself.
And you never got beat up? You never anything?
Oh, yeah, I had some fights.
Yeah, 18 years, man.
Matter of fact.
No, I'm talking in the beginning, especially at Garza, whenever you were crying every night.
No. I wasn't there that long, about 2 or 3 days. I just told they won't put me on that bus and got me out of there. But to answer your question, I had a correction officer to pay inmates $3,000 to kill me.
Yeah.
Behind 2 ice cream sandwiches and 2 soda water that I didn't know anything about, right? So that's why I despise gang members. All of them. Mandingo, Warrior, Disciple, Bluefoot, Crip Blood, all of them. I hate them.
God had you protected.
Man, God had me protected.
So you had to fight those guys. They would let them in the cell on you and all kinds of stuff.
Man, they turned 3 of them loose on me, right? because the thing was not to even touch me. See, I didn't know that the other gangs couldn't touch me, right? Because
Why?
I was a neutron.
What's that?
That means that I don't belong to nothing.
Okay.
So you have to go get permission to touch a black. And then they shipped me from
And they get permission from where? From
the other
like,
gang members,
to touch you because okay.
right? So you had one gang that took the money, but they were gonna tell the administration that I had a hit on me, thinking that the administration was gonna bring me out of population. Their intent wasn't never to do anything with me, is what they said in the federal court, right? I'm one of the very few inmates that come through the state of Texas that successfully filed 2 lawsuits, right? Both of them in the Eastern District. One of them was in the Eastern District of Lufkin Division, and the other one was in the Eastern District of Tyler Division, right? So they said they were going to jack the officer. But by the administration saying I was a black dude, they never did pull me out of population.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm having this man's money now. They got to do something. So they brought
What prison was this at?
This was at the Daryl unit. It's now called Pulaski.
Yeah. Whoa. What
And we
year
were
was?
like number 11 in the state for murders.
What year did you go to the Daryl unit?
I went to Daryl in 2000,
And
So
when did you leave?
in 2006, and went to Michaels.
Yeah. Pimp C had to come. He was at Daryl unit.
But he was at Daryl, the new Daryl.
The new Daryl,
down in Rochelle.
Yeah. I remember that.
But see, the
that was
old
after
Daryl
you, though.
was what Death Row was.
That's right.
And that's
the
where you
original
were.
Daryl.
That's where he was at.
See, at that time, the prison was very violent. You had the Robinson unit was like number 3
French
in the
Robinson.
nation. Then you had the All Red unit, and you had the Daryl unit. We had like 3 or 4 prisons that was in the top 10 for the most violent units in the United States of America.
So
Yeah.
them sending you to all of these prisons that had the murderer because you were sent to prison for being aggressive.
Yeah.
So they're sending you to this prison because of that, because that's what they do. They send you to
But
certain.
they didn't send me there. God gave me favor. When I managed to get off of Gaza, they sent me to a unit in Rochelle. It was Ramsey 3 at the time.
Okay.
It's now Stringfellow. And it's a minimum only unit. I was trying to get to Darrington, remember? So that was my main thing. I wanted to go to Darrington. But the lieutenant said, well, I can't get you to go to Darrington, but I can get you to go to Ramsey 3, right?
Okay.
And I always thought that Ramsey 3 was full of homosexuals from what I was told, right? But at this time, they had moved all the homosexuals to a Styles unit.
Yeah.
And Ramsey was a good unit. It was small, but it was like a 10,000 acre unit,
Okay.
right? And at this time, I'm about 315, 320 pounds.
So
right?
you a
'Cause
big dude.
And I used to eat 6 times a day, right? 'Cause that's all I do, eat and cry. But you wouldn't mess with me, right? And I go to the law library. So when they send me down there, the first thing they do was send me to the field. I go in no field and do no work. So I
One
go out there and
AP,
lay out.
one AP.
Right, so they bring the ambulance.
You laid it down.
I laid out, so they bring the ambulance to come get me. The next day they sent me out there. They bring the van to come get me.
You did the same thing again.
And the next day they brought the horse and wagon to come get me. I'm not being out here in no field. I'm not gonna do it. So they locked me up. They
Let's
would
see.
write me cases. And I ain't know nothing about no cases. So they locked me up and I was a minimum in, right? So they changed my custody to medium custody, right? Because I wouldn't work.
Because you're being difficult.
And that's when they started shipping me to them renegade units. The first one I went to was All Red. Now I'm still trying to get back down to Darrington. So the only way we could get to Darrington was to put Judaism on our travel card, right? So that was the only unit that had Jewish services at that time. So I put my Jewish travel card on and I'm trying to get to Darrington. I want to go to Darrington by all costs. That's where it's popping at, right? So the white people caught on to that and they found a rabbi to go to Robinson unit, right? So I used to have about 13 bags of stuff full of canned goods and everything. Everywhere I go, I had some help to tote all this stuff, right? So when I got, the man told me, he said, how did you get on this bus with all these bags? I said, don't worry about that. I said, I'm going to be back on here in the morning. He said, no, you ain't. I said, yes, I am, because I'm going to Darrington. He said, no, you going out right here. I said, no, man, I'm on the Jew chain. He said, Jew chain stop here. Ain't nobody else going down south. so they put me out there at Fritz Robinson.
Okay.
And they were violent out there as well.
What year was that?
This had to be in like 98.
98. And then after that, did you ride? How long did you stay on the French Robinson unit?
Man, I finally got off that book about about a year.
About a year.
My mother went to the doctor and got a doctor's statement to move me closer to home, and that's when they sent me to the Daryl unit, right? Now, my mother did come to visit me, her and my son, when I was on the Robinson unit.
So you had a child before you went to prison?
I did. My son was 13.
Okay.
And even though I was still in hubcaps and T-Town, I was the Little League football coach and the Little League baseball coach.
Wow.
At that time, and I started coaching when he was 6 years old.
Man, so when they move you closer and get you to Terrell unit, this here now time is ticking. You've done a lot of time at this point.
Yes, and I'm still fighting, right?
And you're still fighting. How frustrating was that?
Man,
just trying to fight a case like that, knowing that you innocent. Did you? I know you put in for appeal, and you appealed, and did they shoot you down on that first appeal?
But first appeal, but let me move back to when I was on French Robinson unit. That's when the activists in me really started to come out.
Yeah.
Then, right? Because the Hispanics used to wait till Friday every week to stab each other to lock the unit down.
Yeah.
Right? Now, I always had commissary and stuff like that, but a lot of men didn't. Right? So they did this like 3 weeks in a row. So I could find myself going off on them Hispanics. It was the RUs and the Tongo Blasts, and they was plexing with the Mafia and all these different gangs, right? And I go off on them, and I don't know who, right? So I'm talking bad to them. Say, you got one more time, lock this unit down, then you're gonna be dealing with something, right? So I'm going hard on them. They go to the blacks. Now the Crips and Bloods and MWs come to me and ask me what's going on. I said, nigga, it's all about you. What's up? Man, you can't be talking about that. I said, man, let me tell you something. I said, every weekend this unit locked down. I said, I don't get visits. I said, people come from Houston, San Antonio, Austin, Dallas, Fort Worth, and when they come up here, and we didn't have telephones at that time. I said, your wives, your mamas, and sisters, y'all, they can't visit you because we locked down. They turn them around. And one of them spoke up, said, yeah, my wife brought my son up here to see me, and we couldn't do it. So now the light began to go off in their head, right, up to what I was doing. So they go back and tell them, man, he right what he's saying. Y'all need to give us notice so we can at least write home and tell our people not to come. Well, you're a gang member. You should have been doing this all by yourself, right? I shouldn't have to engineer you to do this here. So that's when the politics really started to come out in me, and the activism was standing up for my people.
Yeah, so that's a good thing that you've seen the light at that point, right? So
what I wanted to ask you though, because when you were at a terror unit and you said that they had paid to beat you up or get you killed and stuff like that, how did you find out about that? You never did say.
Well, the first when they was intending to jack the officer for the money.
Right.
That's why the gang members ain't number snitches. Right? They go to the administration, tell the administration I got a hit on me. See, they have what they call safe prison, right? But they don't use it for black people. Like if I'd have been a white boy, they'd have pulled me out of population and asked questions. But they didn't even let me know that I had a hit on me. So one Saturday, I was off from work, and I'm sitting on the pod waiting for count to clear so I can go get my hair cut. And I see these three dudes come on the pod, but I don't know that they gang members. I don't know who, right? I don't know nothing about them. So when I went up the stairs to hit on the window to let the barber know when count clear come out, one of them steal me, right? And when I turned around, I picked him up and threw him on the other one. And I got the best of them. It was three of them, right? And they said, man, I ain't no major had it like that. So I whooped 3 gang members. So that night they had a meeting. I don't know what's going on still this point. I don't know why they clicked on me or nothing, right? Now, all the gangs, the Mexican gang, the white gang, the black gang, they got a meeting on the yard, and the meeting is about me. And they sent the coward MW, the Mandingo warrior, to carry out this mess, right? So now these other gangs want to do them. Because they said, y'all let a neutron make y'all look bad. They said, y'all weak. So 3 days later, they come back and hit me again, and that's when it got real bloody. That time, they really kind of got the best of me.
what happened? What kind of damages did you get?
What I just got hit in the head with a weight.
Okay.
At that time, right? Now the administration want to lock me up. I still don't
To
know
keep you safe, really.
Yeah, at that point.
Right.
But why you didn't do it when they first came out? And I'm glad they didn't, because that would have made me look like I was a rat.
Yeah.
Right.
Right? So God know how he fix things, right? And I was able to overcome. So when they locked us up in the game member kept calling me down there, Major. So I don't ever answer. Major, you go down there? So they sent a kite down there, man. Please answer me, man. We wrong.
What's a kite?
Just a note.
They sent
Okay.
a note saying that how they were wrong. We want to talk to you. They want to try to fix it. So I'm still mad. Nigga, why'd you put your hands on me for anyway? I'm not trying to hear nothing you talk about, right? Because you put your hands on me, and that's a problem. So it went on and said, man, that's the administration fault. Nah, nigga, that's your fault. You did that. But we went to the administration. They supposed to been taking you out of population. But you put your hands on me. I deal with them later, right? So they said, man, if you file a lawsuit, we're going to tell everything that went on. And they did.
Wow. So you basically filed a lawsuit
And I won a judgment
on the officer.
on the officer.
How did that make you feel? Accomplished inside?
Not really, because I ain't got my freedom yet.
Yeah, but you
but-
had the sense of I made something happen.
I changed the system because I'm going to tell what people don't know.
I didn't know people can do that while they're in prison, like file
court-
lawsuits
Yeah, you can
against.
file writs and all
I'm going
kinds
to tell you
of stuff.
something. Black people love Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton a piece of shit. You hear me? They call him the first black president. Bill Clinton a piece of shit. When he got up in there in 1992, he authored a bill called Tough on Crime. That was to lock all black people up. And we don't see that part of it, right? He went through the whole project, locking folks up for small amounts of dope. And then he went farther in 96 and come up with the AEDPA, which is the Anti-Effective Terrorism Death Penalty Act, right? That gives you 1 year to get into federal court, or you forever time barred, right? So you taking a kid that has dropped out of school in 8th grade and don't know nothing, and you expect him to get to the Supreme Court in 1 year? That's impossible. Right? When you get lawyers and judges and all them 8 or 9, 10 years to get their degree and to move forward in the legal system. Then he come back that same year and pass what they call the PLRA, which is the Prison Litigation Reform Act, right? Meaning that you cannot sue a prison or institution for mental and emotional damage. Well, that's all incarceration is,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So he done us more harm than any president in the history of this country. And I go all the way back to George Washington when it comes down to black people. But we love him. You know why we love him? He smoke a little weed. We smoke a lot of weed. He cheat on his wife. We cheat on our girlfriend. He like blue. We like rap, right? So we figure he was one of us. And all the time he was putting his foot on our neck. And that's the way Democrats are now. You see what they just did the other day, don't you? And they talking about Martin Luther King. Nobody killing about no Martin Luther King. Not even black folks or white folk, right? In 30 years, they're going to have Martin Luther King painted as a white man.
Wow. So getting back to you, because I want to walk up to the point of how you came to the end of your course being locked up in prison. When you came, which unit were you released at, and how many years did you do before you left Terrell unit?
I got to Terrell in 2000. They had just moved death row over there because of the guys had escaped from Ellis.
Okay, I remember that.
I do too.
And after the contract hit was placed on me, they moved me to the Michael unit.
Okay.
Right. And at that time, kites follow you.
Yeah.
Right, everywhere you go. So before you get there, they know you're the government, right?
Really?
Them gang members, hell, they do everything but the right thing, right? So anyway.
And did you have a lawyer at this time still fighting
No.
your case, or you were fighting
I
your
was
own
fighting
case?
my own case. When I was on Terrell, I filed a writ of habeas corpus. I filed a writ of habeas corpus when I was on Terrell unit. And I filed this on December the 2nd of 2000. At that time, we was getting mail on Saturdays. Incoming mail and outgoing mail on Saturdays. So I mailed that mail on December the 2nd, which was a Saturday. I put it in the mailroom window. Prayed on it, me and my legal partner,
Right.
and I sent it out. It left the unit on the 4th, that Monday. They got it in Harris County District Clerk's office on Wednesday the 9th of 2000. No, the 6th, Wednesday the 6th of 2000. I get the return receipt back because I had sent it certified on Saturday the 9th. To this day, them people say they still didn't get that writ. Right? And that was an act of God. So to this point, it still hadn't been a writ filed on my case, right? Challenging the merit
That's why I
of my
believe
conviction.
everything happens for a reason. We don't always see it right then and there when we're going through things, but every single thing happens for a reason.
So you now you're on Michael's. Is that where you were released from?
Yeah, that's why I made parole at on Michael's.
Yeah, and
I stayed over there 9 years.
9 years at
years.
Michael's.
At Michael.
Did you have a boy? I tell you, man, you went through a lot of count times, a lot of different things, man.
Man,
A lot of
it's
child time.
And your mom was still
Lot of
alive when you
spreads.
came out?
No,
So
Yeah.
you lost your mom while
and dad.
and
I'm
dad.
gonna tell you how cold them white folks were. They told me, they said, "You going home?" I had the highest piece of paper. It was, which was a L51.
Yeah,
I'm
45 days.
30.
30 at that time.
I'm going home, bar none. I'm going home. This is what you telling me. I got a release date for May the 30th, I believe, right? My daddy died on May the 5th, and they wouldn't even let me go eulogize my daddy,
Wow.
right? But you already say I'm going home. If I go out there and don't do what I'm supposed to do, you're going to snake this piece of paper for me, right? So moving back to Michael's, I used to teach Bible study classes, and I believe in God 100%. I believe in Jesus Christ 100%.
When did you come to that?
That's
though?
exactly what I was going
Because
to
at
ask.
first you was mad at God.
Yeah, and that was in 1997, 98, right?
But what made
when
you
did you-
change your mind?
That's
God.
right.
He came to me
What
Okay.
year and how many years had you been locked up?
about 3.
3.
It was about 99.
Tell me about that experience.
Man, I'm in there, and I hear somebody like calling my name. You know, like I get up and go to the door. 'Cause I used to stay in the cells a lot.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be out there in that living room with them dominoes, and none of that was never in my agenda. So I keep hearing somebody coming at the door. So I go to the door. I said, man, who coming in the door messing with me, man? Ain't nobody been in that door. I said, man, so the next time you come in that door, I'm gonna throw some hot water out that door, man. So God said, just look at you. Just look at you. I'm like, what's going on? And he began to put my life before me. I had a motorcycle one time, smooth board, carburetors, struts, headers on there. And I was out there on Interstate 20 running about 180. And the motorcycle just came to a stop. And I'm steady giving it gas. And when the motorcycle stopped, the sprocket and the chain fell off, right?
On the
Yeah.
highway.
Yeah, so imagine if I was rolling at that speed and that chain to come off and got caught in that tie.
Yeah.
So he began to show me, and I was in head-on collisions and stuff where I could have killed kids and family members, you know.
And you didn't notice it at that time when it happened.
No, till he began to put this before me. All the time that I knew that I should have been a dead man, right? He would put this before me, and he said, I brought you through all of that. What make you think that I'm not going to bring you through this, Earl? And I didn't immediately change, but that stuck with me every day that I would walk. So I started getting correspondent Bible courses and doing them in the mail here and there and get these little certificates and stuff. And I think that what did it because I enjoyed getting them certificates, right? And I still got to stack them to this day, right? And I would get in these Bible classes just to get these certificates, right? And it wasn't for parole because I never wanted parole, right? I wanted to get out on this case.
Yeah,
ASAP.
you wanted to beat 'em.
Parole was 2015. We still in the 90s, right?
Yeah.
So that wasn't even a thing, but that was rewarding for me.
Yeah.
To get something for doing something, right?
Yeah.
I'm actually being rewarded.
Being productive.
Being
Yeah.
exactly.
For doing something.
Yeah,
right?
for doing the
So
right-
I began to change like this, and God was building a foundation in me that I didn't understand.
Was that when you started looking into your case, or did you start looking into your case doing the law section of it before God came into your life?
Before.
Okay.
Yeah. From the
From
county
day one,
jail.
as soon as you got
Yeah,
there, you
most
started
definitely.
researching about the law.
About the law.
Man, for you to do 18 years like that, and in your heart, knowing that you didn't do the crime that's being you accused of.
And the crime never even existed.
The crime never existed just because of somebody being vindictive and saying something towards you, that allegations that wasn't true. And then for you to go 18 years in prison dealing with the hoopla and all of the different people, the guards, the inmates, the different jailers, everywhere you went, there was always something, I'm pretty sure of it.
Man, be sleep at 2:00 in the morning. Man, they come cut the lights on.
Get butt naked, shake down.
You have to look it all up your rectum, man. Have to sleep standing up, putting chain bus at 1-2 in the morning. Oh man, it's utterly ridiculous what's going on in that place.
Yeah.
I witnessed dude get their throat cuts with Jack Mac tops, blood skeeting all on you. Witness officers bringing free world knives up in there to have other inmates killed. Stuff going on. You send your child in there. You paying your tax dollars for your child to be protected, and you got the people that you paying money to killing your kids. Man, that's crazy. Right here in the state of Texas.
Because it's politics, everything.
And then you got these girls down there. They gonna get with these dudes. These girls got kids and stuff. Now they going to jail for messing with these dudes. These dudes gonna tell on them as soon as they first chance they get. Right, they walk them off and lock them up. I seen all that. Wow. I had a woman that liked me in there one time, right? And I said, well, just help me get out of here. Then we can be together. She had a little daughter. You know what the woman told me?
What?
She said I was crazy. I said, I'm crazy. You putting your job and your daughter's welfare on the line, but I'm crazy. Yeah. I'm not going to get caught up with you and go to SIG. I went to medium custody for 6 months for not working. Mm-hmm. I never went to closed custody. I never went to SIG. I did all my time on minimum custody, but except 6 months for not working down there for them white folks on Ramsey 3. Right? That's a blessing.
Do you feel that men prisons should have female guards?
I do.
Why?
Men are beasts. They laying up with each other in there. Oh, it's ridiculous. They got titties and everything, right? And I was just blessed and covered by the blood of Jesus to not to participate or want any of that stuff. My main focus was to get out of prison as fast as I could. To get out of prison to be with my mama. But I honestly believe had my mama not died, that I'd still be in prison.
Wow.
I believe wherever my mama went, she petitioned for my release.
How many years were you in there when she passed away?
She passed in 14. January 7th, 2014.
You only had 4 more years to go.
Yeah.
One.
No, one.
One more
year. He got out
sorry.
in 1 year, and your dad passed 30 in 2015.
Uh-huh.
And you was right there at them
At the
seeing
door.
at the door. And so when you say your mom petitioned for you,
I believe she went to Jesus.
so you believe that it was because of what her going to Jesus, just like that story in Luke 18 where he said you ought to always pray and not faint.
Yeah, I made my first parole, and this is crazy. My offense was against a woman, right? So I started my own parole stuff maybe about 2010 or 2011, writing them, telling them, you need to come over here and talk to me. I want to talk to you, right? And I was writing this man that was a parole commissioner, right? And I'm looking for favor, looking for favor from another man, right? So they just put him, well, we put your letter in your file, you ain't up for parole. So the next year I write another, right? So when I did get in the parole shoot, I write this man again, right? And I get a parole lay in. I got that paper. I'm going to see Paul Kill, right? When I go to parole, I don't see no Paul Kill. I see his boss, and she a woman. And all the time, it's going through my mind, what am I going to tell these people when they ask me about this crime? Because if I tell them I didn't do it, then they going to say, well, he in denial and he ain't remorse for all this here, right? this is in my mind, the flesh, right? And this is what I'm dealing with all the way up.
Now this
Till I
after
get
you done
to
been
the-
locked up 18 years.
And this is crazy because the person I wanted to see, I didn't see. I seen a woman. She said, I come over here to visit you because you had wrote Paul and told him to come. Well, he said, since I was already out here today, for me to see you. He says, I'm his boss. I'm a board member.
See, that's God.
And I'm like, ooh. I said, can we pray?
Amen.
So I went to prayer, and I prayed with her. I don't guess she ever heard that before, right, from an inmate, want to pray with her. So she said, I said, ma'am, I got one thing to tell you before you conduct this interview with me. She said, what's that? I said, about 18 months ago, I got busted with some tobacco. She said, some cigarettes? I said, yes, ma'am. She said, I don't worry about that. All y'all need to be smoking in there. I was like, well, right? And this woman conducted that interview with me, and she never asked me about that case. When that woman was finished to me, she said, have your people to call, this was on a Thursday, have your people to call Huntsville next week, and you should have an answer. She said, good luck. So I'm always impatient, right? You know, I can't wait on nothing. And I just read in that Bible just a few days ago about patience. Man is not patient, he ain't for a wreck, right? So that Friday morning I got up and I had some homeboys that worked over in the schoolhouse. So I said, man, look out, Beaumont. He said, yeah. I said, man, check that computer and see if I got an answer. You know, there ain't been 24 hours yet, because I seen that woman about 3-something that Thursday, right? And he said, man, you know you ain't got no answer. Didn't you just see them folk yesterday? I said, yeah, Beaumont, go on check it for me. So he said, all right. So I went on back to my pod, and at lunchtime I came back. I said, Beaumont, what did he say? He said, man, I ain't checked it yet. He said, but I'm gonna check it for you. So after lunch, I had a lay-in to go to the chapel. So I done forgot about it now. So I'm waiting on the child hall to open up. So I'm on the other side of the unit, and I see Beaumont walking on that sidewalk. I said, man, I supposed to be going to holler at Beaumont. So when I went through the gate, he said, man, I've been out here looking for you for 30 minutes. I said, what's up? He said, man, they gonna let you go. He said, you got an F-I-1. I said, what? I said, don't play with me, Beaumont. So when he told me that,
Did you just cry?
oh man, I'm about to cry now. But when he told me that, man, I said, thank you, man. You ain't playing with me, is you? He said, no, man, they gonna let you go. So it's like that. We've been trained not to believe what black people say, right? So I said, man, let me go to this chaplain office. So I went around to the chaplain. I said, chaplain, can you check the computer and see if them people gonna let me go home? He said, you know they ain't gonna never let you go home. I said, that ain't what I asked you. Just check that computer. So he got on the computer, he checked. He looked at me, he looked back. He said, well, right here it say you got an F-I-1.
Wow.
I said, all right, thank you. And I went on up out of there, right?
Man, boy, I tell you, man, and you, what was the scripture that you held on to that just kept you going?
Man,
at that
Psalm
end?
27:13.
It kept you going.
I would have lost hope unless I seen the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living.
Wow.
Right? And in 2006, when I was attacked by those gang members, God gave me that ministry, Continuing Faith in Christ Ministries, right? He birthed that in me. And for some reason it stayed with me. And when I got out in 2015, they tracked me from space, right? They had me in a program called SISP, Super Intense Supervision Program, where I had to have a leg monitor on and a phone on my hip. I couldn't go nowhere. If I let the phone here and go outside, I'm violated. I had to wear this thing for 13 months and 11 days, and that's a timely manner, right? I got off as fast as I possibly could without any violation or interruption. Some guys stay on that thing 6, 7, 8 years, because if you do 6 to 8 months and you violate, you got to start all the way back over from the beginning until you complete your program, right? The program was 12 months, but it took them an additional month for all the paperwork to go through the proper channels.
See, I know about a leg monitor, but I didn't know a leg monitor and a phone.
Oh yeah. It's a game. It's a serious game going on, man. So after you come home, I want to get to the education part because we definitely don't want to hold
miss out on that.
But to be after you get out to pursue your education, or did you pursue any while you was in there? Or did this all happen on the outside?
My education came from the outside. I wouldn't go to school in prison. I didn't want a prison education. I stayed in the chapel and the law library. I was educating myself in law and in theology, basically.
So when you came home and you went to school, what was it that
what made
explain to us the educational process of what you done when you came home?
Well, when I came home and I got the leg monitor off, it was in 2016 when they took it off.
13 months after.
I went to enroll in Texas College, which is a HBCU in my town, right? I had setbacks where I went back to jail for 10 months.
Why?
Again, they lied on me. My record was bad. When you lie on a person, parole don't care. They gonna come school, well, me anyway, school me up until they find out what's going on. But I was enrolled in school, right? That was the first stumbling block, right? I overcame that. I got back in school, and it was a struggle. I went to jail again.
This parole thing's giving you a tough time,
man. I don't know how to live out here.
Yeah, and that's something I wanted to talk. I wanted to talk about that because when you left, Tupac he just died. Tupac got killed.
September
and then
1996.
1996, and then you come out in 2015 when they got all type of cell phones, all type of stuff going on, far as different type of cars. When you left in 1996, that Baby Lack was out. You know what I'm saying? The Baby Lack had just went down. Then in 2015,
fashion is totally different.
Fashion is different. Everything is totally different, and you walk out of those. You got out at the Walls unit.
At the Walls unit.
Yeah, you come out at the Walls unit and you get that what, the $150?
Man, they probably gave me $100.
$100.
And you didn't have nowhere to go because then you had your mama passed away, your daddy passed away.
No, what I tell you a while ago, Jesus will ride with me.
Yeah.
So where did you?
I went home.
It was his.
I'm still home.
Yeah, his house.
Your house.
God had him a place set up.
See, my mother died in 2014. My dad died in 2015. My son, when my mom died, my son took over the house.
Okay.
And he was, keeping it up while I was
And how
gone.
old was he at that time when your mom died? Because you've been gone
33.
18,
33.
Yeah, so he had grown. Right.
He was 33. When he came out, he was 13. When he went in, it was 13. When he got out, he was 33. When he went, he was 33.
And
when you got out,
53.
At 53.
What's up with all these threes?
Got to ask God that.
but the thing is, when you come home and you see all these new things, what was the biggest thing that stuck out to you? I got to ask you that because I know we was getting into the education, but I wanted to ask you that. Like, what stuck out to you that changed the most? Like, wow.
Man, I got that monitor on when I'm in Dallas at the bus station. So I walked from the bus station to a 7-Eleven and bought me a cell phone, flip phone. And I'm trying to work. I don't know what I'm doing. So I just throw it to the side. So when I get home, it was on a Friday. So that Saturday, my son had a cell phone. And he came, he said, I'm going to give you this cell phone right here. I got your number already in it. I got me another one. He said, here you go. So he put me on this site, right? And when the phone rung, a picture jumped up, right? And I slung it across the because it wasn't a regular ring, right? It was like, I said, oh man, what is this? And then I walked over there, I looked at it, and then the picture was up there, and it was stood up, and it was just shaking, right? So I called him in. I said, man, what wrong with that? He said, man, you got the answer. So, we got it answered, and, I started progress a little bit from there, right?
Let me see these pictures. What year was it? Because I don't want to miss out on these pictures being showed on the screen. Could you make sure that we get a good picture of that on there? What year, what was that picture there? What year was that?
That had to be about 2008.
2008. Okay, and then this one right here. What unit was you on when you took that one?
On Michael's.
Michael's unit? And then this one right here, where were you at?
I was on the Michael unit there. That
As
was
well?
about 10,
Who had a camera up in there? What was going on? That was the visitation?
The visitation.
Yeah,
for
yeah.
different programs that I was in. Once you graduated and finished, they would take out pictures. I never touched a cell phone in prison.
Yeah.
I never touched. Even when my mama died, I had people bring me cell phones, right?
And you wouldn't even
I never touched them. When my mama was dying, I had caught a tobacco case. They snitched on me because I was trying to sell cigarettes.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, doing,
Trying to make it through, make a living.
Hustling, right? So when they told on me, they come in there. They had telephones at this time, but I lose my telephone privileges.
Yeah.
And my mother came up there on October the 5th of 2013 to tell me that she had only 6 months to live, right?
Wow.
And I didn't see it, right? So, whatever. But as soon as she left, she started to deteriorate.
Yeah.
Right? So, after that was, I just kept doing what I was doing, law library and chapel. That's it.
Wow. What was about that?
Well, on these pictures, I noticed this one you were so serious, and then this one you were smiling like.
I don't know. That sincere look, I've been had that all my life, right? My auntie asked me when I was about 10, why was I always looking so serious?
Yeah, because that one he just smiling like really. I'm like, what's up with that?
I don't know. I must have seen somewhere. Must have been there somewhere. I don't know, but,
So let's move on to the education.
Yeah.
What made you choose? Because I would think that when you came out, you don't want to get into law, like be a lawyer to try to,
Well,
why not that?
Because in Texas they won't certify me to be a lawyer. I'm a convicted felon. Now Texas Southern has my case in its innocence projects down there right now, and they're working to prove my innocence. Right now, I don't know if my theft convictions will keep me from being a lawyer, but my thing is that I want to be somewhere around the criminal justice field. Right. So
what was your major?
My major when I first started college was business administration.
Okay.
Right. But it was just I was taking my basics.
That's right.
So once I got my basics out the way, I changed my major to criminal justice.
Wow. And so now you've been actively going, like you said last week, you was downtown Dallas because somebody had gotten convicted. What was that
Draylon
about?
Patterson.
Draylon Patterson.
He was accused of being an uptown rapist.
Okay.
I don't think that he raped nobody. I think that he was out having sex with prostitutes. And didn't pay them. And they pulled that card, which is my situation wasn't dealing with no prostitute, but it was dealing with a woman scorned, right? So that's why I came in to try to assist in that.
Wow. So when you meet these people, and because when you hear these cases, you go down here to speak to them to figure out is it true or not. How can you discern? Okay, this person is willing for me to fight for them.
Well, I'm like this right here. I don't care what a person did. I don't care if you're guilty or innocent. Only thing I care about is your constitutional rights being protected.
Okay.
Right? Because white folk guilty all the time. They've been guilty, right? But did they violate your constitutional rights in the process?
Okay.
And 9 times out of 10, they did.
Wow.
I got you.
And because, and I love the way you break that down in a way, and the reason I say that, really is, what happened with the white man, it happened. And we can't go back and change what happened with our history and what we went through. But you got to understand that if there's an opportunity, you know what I mean, and we can help, try to help our people that a lot of time are going through a lot of things mentally because of what our people been through. Our people been through a lot. Like you said, you talked about Bill Clinton. You talked about different things that you went through as a kid growing up. You didn't touch on racism a lot during your young childhood, but being in the country and dealing with the things that you've seen growing up, you understand what was going on. And I know your mom and your dad went through, and your mom's mom and your mom's dad and mom went through. We start looking back. You go back 100 years. You go back to 150 years, and you start to look at the lifestyle that they're having to deal with, and you start to see that this is what you came up under. You came through this to get to who you are now. These people are the ones that genetically inclined. It's in you to where you now react to things a certain way. I believe things are passed down genetically. So mentally, you still have things that you deal with that you don't understand. Certain things that, like we was talking about my son and the fact that how picky he is with his foods and all that stuff. And some of the ways that he sit back and look that he don't even know he's looking like my dad. But I know that this is in him. So these are things that do affect us. And we can't get caught up in the fact of saying, oh, man, we went through that. We got different opportunities there. Yeah, but you still got some mental conditioning to deal with.
See, my thing with us black people, we don't want to learn who we are. We don't want to learn. We don't want to study. We don't want to read. We want to drink and drug. And when we drink and drug, we think we covering up pain and hurt. When actually we're making it worse, right? Until you face your opposition, you can't never correct it. Until you face and find out what happened to your forefathers and your foremothers, then you don't know how to defend it, right? So we want to educate our people, especially our youth. Let them school names stay the same. Let Robert E. Lee stay up there. Let John Tyler stay up there. Because once you start turning that stuff down and changing the name of the school, which is probably what white America wants you to do, you forget about what Emmett Till and them went through, the Medgar Evers went through, the story about Birth of a Nation. What's his name?
Birth of a
Nat
Nation.
Turner.
Yeah.
We forget about that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
White people want us to. Black people don't know we were Republicans. We wasn't no freaking Democrats. The Democrats started the Ku Klux Klan, right? And the police department. They were called slave catchers. They had a dog called nigger eaters. But now you at a party that can't even stand together. Not even on the city level, state level, or national level.
Wow, man, that's Daryl Davis, man. Daryl Davis. So how long did it take you to get finished through school? I see you looking good, man. 4 years.
Yeah.
You did that 4 years.
Yeah, I got locked up 2 times.
But you here, and you done it.
Hey,
let me see what you got here, man. So this is my social arts degree. You should be so proud of this.
That's my social arts degree.
Social arts degree right here, man. You see it.
So are you going back to school to get any other degrees?
They want me to go get my master's.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Get your master's and your doctorate.
This is my
wow.
My
You should be so
degree in criminal justice.
Man, here you go, baby. You show it to the camera because I mess up, man. At any rate, man. Whoa, man. This is nice, man.
So
Daryl Lynn Davis.
That's me.
Man, Bachelor's of Science in Criminal Justice with all rights, privileges, honors appertaining thereto, given under the seal of the College of Tyler, Texas, on this 15th day of May, 2021. Man, you should be so proud.
And I made the honor roll.
And you made the honor roll, the dean's list, man.
They beat me out of 0.2 points. I could have made the president list.
Hey, man.
So I went from making F minors to being an honor roll student.
Man,
right.
So anybody can do it, right?
Anybody.
If they put their heart to it.
And put their heart to it. And they mind.
And put God first, right?
Man, God got to stay first.
Wow. So how did you get them to start to fight for your case at that school?
I didn't. They contacted me. I done got out of prison, and the University of Houston had my stuff. When I was in prison, that's all I did was write. Man, I wrote so much, I had a big ball come up on my finger.
Right, man.
Writing and litigating. When nobody answered me, they wasn't trying to hear me, but I never gave up. And that's why I'm so messed up with the NAACP. They don't help nobody, which is why I started Equality and Justice for All, DLD, right? We want to help people, not just black people, but people, human beings, because what I tell people when I speak is there's 4 things that a child have no control of. That's who their mother going to be, who their father going to be, what gender they going to wear, and what skin color they going to wear. God chooses that for us, right? And if we claim to be God-fearing people and God-loving people, we have to accept people for who they are, right?
I agree.
How easy it is to find out, because people say all the time, because I always say, the internet is here for you to find out anything you want to know about the law, your rights, so forth. And you talk about people out here who are on drugs or drinking and so forth and not able to find this information out. But you have people who are regular working people who are so comfortable in their life who are not interested in to find out their rights until a police stop them and they start arguing, until they put into a certain situation, then they start to research. But what would you say to people in general that they need to know, and how easy is it to find out all of these rights? Because sometimes when you're looking at social media, or not even social media, the Google, you have to put in the right set of words to figure out the information.
Man, what I figured out with Google, all you gotta do is talk to it. It's gonna tell you whatever you ask. Right? So
Yeah.
I figure our people, we're unconscious people. We don't wanna know. We wanna know a bunch of bullshit that don't matter, right? Or like I was stating a while ago, we don't go to no meetings. We don't participate. We be the first to know where the party's at. What they gonna have at the club. DJ so-and-so got this going down. But you don't never post nothing about they got a school board meeting at 8 o'clock. They got a city council meeting at 9. They got a commissioner call. You don't see nothing on social media. Why not?
It's on certain groups, but you have to be a part of those groups
Yeah.
to be able to see it.
Why not put regular people post it? They post everything
Anything
else.
else?
Right? We had a school, I call it Northside High School right here, but it used to be called John Tyler.
Yeah.
They got a school, it used to be, I call it Southside High School, it used to be Tyler Lee, Robert E. Lee, right? They got $600 million worth of bonds to build 2 schools in that city, right? They only built 1 high school in
Where
that
the rest
city.
of the money come?
They gave the other one a facelift, right? The black school, Northside High School, you give it a facelift. Then beside that, you go 2.5 years and don't have no kitchen in the school, right? I went undercover and investigated that and broke it before the school board. You feeding our kids like inmates. You preparing their food from a closed down middle school and shipping it over there to them, and they don't even know what's going on. That's a problem.
That's a big
Did you get that resolved?
Oh, most definitely.
How hard is it to get something like that resolved?
It's very hard because I don't have no help. I was the only one. I don't have no kids over there, right? It was
And how long did it take for you to get it resolved?
not long. Because once I put it out there, everybody began to want to know about it now. So they said, we're working on it. So when they finally did have a ribbon cutting ceremony, they had the kitchen in there. But when I was first started inquiring about it, they said they forgot to put the kitchen in it. Okay, I'm all right with that. We are human beings. We forget, right? But you ain't forgot for no 3 years.
Wow.
Right? So that you wasn't never intend to put no kitchen in there, right? So I was out there with my sign, why my child, where my tax dollars going, why no kitchen.
You by yourself?
By myself, right? I'm always by myself. You know, people don't want to get involved until it directly affect them,
Yeah.
especially our people. That's why, you know, I just can't just totally bash white people because they will support a cause when we won't support our own cause.
So when you did that, did you ever get anybody to start coming out and
No, it ain't come out.
just you by yourself?
And you got to change
I
by
got
yourself.
I got another guy that he went to school board with a meeting with me, but for coming out holding signs and demonstrating, because I don't do no protesting, I just demonstrate. He come to the school board and spoke over there in the school board meeting.
Well, here's what I want to do. Throughout this year, I'll be contacting you again just to see where you're at with different things and different things that you're dealing with. And just be looking to hear from me. I'll have you back on periodically because I
Okay.
feel like, you know, just your progress and the stuff that you're dealing with, because you're out here being an activist, doing the things that it takes to try to push change in the places where it needs to be. We would love to see you back on here throughout the course of 2022, if that's all right with you.
Man, most definitely. Next time I tell y'all about how my mama got attacked and robbed when I was in there.
Oh yeah, we're gonna talk
So
about
one
all of
thing I
that.
want-
Losing her leg behind that.
What injustice, because you seem like you're always fighting injustice, other than your personal case, are you trying to fight coming up?
Right now, I'm interested in a case going on where a black guy married a white lady. White girl, they had a baby, the baby 3. The baby died. They got both of them in jail on capital murder case. But they just seeking the death penalty against the black man and not the white woman. And I got a problem with that because when I was locked up, they had a situation where this black guy ran with a group of white guys. The white guys go kill another one because I think he was a homosexual. I think, I don't know.
Alleged,
if he was,
'cause you really don't know.
Okay. And the black guy was the only one got the death penalty, and he wasn't the one to do the killing. From that same town, Smith County.
Wow. I just thank you so much, man. God is, basically the reason why you're able to do everything that you've done.
And I applaud you for it.
Man, I applaud you big time.
And just thank y'all for the opportunity.
Man, come on, man. We just getting started.
Yeah.
We just getting started. We're going to continue to push, man, and try to use these microphones as a way to where we can pretty much help you to push your agenda in a way to where it can affect change. And somebody that been through something or going through something may hear something that we say through you that can help change a life, man. Thank you so much, Daryl.
I got a little YouTube page, I'm trying to
shout
start
it out.
up. Daryl L. Davis 2719 show. Check me out, subscribe. I got a lot of legislature on there where I'm down there in Austin. Other little different clips where I'm monkey shining. But it's Be Real. Let's talk about it. Daryl L. Davis 2719 show.
And if there's somebody who is trying to fight for a brother, uncle, sister, whoever, and don't know how to fight for these people and would love to get your help, how can they reach out to you?
Yeah, Equality and Justice for All, DLD, P.O. Box 5181, Tyler, Texas 75712. My phone number is 903-944-4443. Easy number to remember. Reach out, contact me. I'll be willing to come anywhere in the state of Texas at this moment.
Man, that's so much love, man. So much love. And I thank God for you, man. And I appreciate
God
you, man.
for y'all and y'all platform that, to produce stuff like this.
Oh, man, we for the work.
You got so much madness out there that
we for the work.
Bullcorn that we need, our people need to do better, man.
We gonna do better.
And by I'm seeing my struggle from being thrown away in that concrete jungle for 18 years, 6 months, 3 weeks, and 5 days to come out to where I am today. It's only by God's amazing grace. But God is not a God of partiality. What he do for one, he'll do for another one.
See, people don't understand how God works. People look at situations and feel like, I don't know, why is he doing this or why is he doing that, and not realize that God is preparing you for something greater down the line. And people tend to judge. They're not sitting down and being patient, because most human beings like us are not patient. Just like what you were saying earlier, you don't like to sit still. You like to know what's going on.
And we have to realize God is not a right now God. He's an on time God. So we're in a microwave society, right? That's why we're suffering from this, what they call COVID, right? Mm-hmm. Because we want everything right now.
And what my husband always says is that you have to meet people where they're at.
You have to meet people where they're at.
And that's the thing is, you can't judge people. You got to meet people where they're at.
Man, thank you so much for coming on the show, brother.
Man, thank you.